Okay, so now we're going to look at remapping commands. So why would you want to remap your commands? Well, I've put this fairly early on in the video list because it's something we couldn't do before. Remapping commands is new to iOS 14, I think it was. Or was it 13? Anyway, it's quite new compared to how long the iPhone's been around. And it means we can change what the various gestures do. Now, to record the first series of these videos, I had to reset my commands, and even though it's only been a day, I already really miss, and I'm talking like frustratingly, screamingly miss, the adaptations I had made. I regularly use my phone with one hand whilst doing something else, and I had added 2 gestures and remapped a third, and without those, my phone use has become a little bit slower and less convenient. So I'm going to demonstrate re-adding those in, so you can see how the system works. So remapping commands is a process whereby you change what one of your gestures does, and some of the commands VoiceOver lets you map aren't mapped already. So for example, the first 2 that I'm going to map are a 2-finger swipe right and a 2-finger swipe or flick left to move by the next or previous heading. Now I've done this because whilst headings can be put into the rotor and you can use it that way, I find headings so common and so numerous in all walks of applications and web pages that having a specific gesture to move between them is very much helpful for me. And no one was using the 2-finger left and right flick either. So there's that one. And then the other one I mapped, so that's adding a gesture that hasn't already been mapped, that's adding something new. Then I changed a gesture. I never, ever, ever, in all my years and years of using an iPhone, have used the 2-finger flick up to read from the top of the screen. I'm perfectly happy using the 2-finger flick down if I want to read from where I am. And if the where I am is the top of the screen, then so be it. But I never need to go from the top. And so I've remapped that one to perform the back gesture, which normally is the scrub. And I remapped it because I struggle. I don't know if it's because of weakness in my hands or just because I'm difficult with my fingers. I struggle to scrub whilst using the phone in the same hand. So I can scrub fine if I'm holding it in one hand or there's a surface to lean the phone on. That's not a problem. But what I can't do is if I'm operating the phone in the same hand as I'm holding it with, I couldn't make that scrub gesture stick. And so rather than be frustrated, I remapped it to the back button. So how do we remap commands? You've got my phone screen here and you'll be hearing the voiceover audio as well. So let's see what we have here.
Microphone off, button. Everything on your screen, including notifications, Discord,
Right,
button.
so this is now being recorded. That's good to know.
Selected, screen recording, button, alarm.
Let's come back out of that center there.
Rotor,
And
button.
we are now in the voiceover settings. So on your iPhone, you need to go into settings and go into accessibility and then go into voiceover.
Rotor action, typing,
And
button.
then
Always
you will
speak,
find...
rotor, activities, commands, button.
There we go, commands. And I'm just using my 1-finger flick left and right here, there to find that. I touched near the bottom of the screen where it was, and I wasn't quite precise enough, so I went the wrong way. But I'm going to double tap on commands
All
here.
commands, button.
Okay, let's go to all commands.
Interaction, button.
Uh,
Basic navigation,
now
button.
there are categories here.
Text navigation, button. Advanced navigation, button. Editing, button.
Now I don't really know
Rotor, button. Scrolling, button. Speech and audio,
Where
button. Output, button.
the options are that I want.
Voiceover, button. System, button.
So
Other,
let's
button.
ignore that notification.
Shortcuts, button.
That's fine.
Shortcuts.
Oh,
button.
Shortcuts is an interesting one. Shortcuts is an app that you can install. It comes with your phone, I think, but you can install it if you don't have it. And you can add custom shortcuts, and it's a bit like programming in some ways, but there is a good gallery of shortcuts you can choose from. You can map these to gestures and keyboard commands as well, so that's worth knowing about.
Commands.
Let's
all command. Interaction, button.
look in
Activate,
here.
button. Escape, escape, button.
So this is the escape gesture.
Touch
If I tap
gestures,
on that,
heading.
it's already mapped to
2-finger scrub.
a 2-finger scrub.
Add gesture, button.
I want to add
Cancel, but touch gestures, heading. Search, tap. 1-finger, heading.
Now this is where having my heading keys would be really helpful because I want 2 fingers.
Rows 8,
So I'm
rows 17.
scrolling.
2-finger swipe up.
There we go.
2-finger swipe up.
I'm going to double tap on that.
Alert, gesture in use. The gesture is assigned to another command read from top. Cancel, but assign, button.
Overwrite that.
Touch gestures, heading.
Now
2-finger swipe up. 2-finger scrub.
I can do both. So if I want to come back out of this screen, I can just swipe up with 2
Escape
fingers.
button.
Look at that. That's brilliant, isn't it?
Magic tap.
So
button. Perform long press.
all the
button.
gestures for voiceover, I think basic voiceover gestures are in here. Basic navigation.
Interaction. Button. Basic navigation. Button.
Do we have
Move
heading?
to bottom of container. Move to bottom of doc. Move to first item. Move to item above. Move to item below. Move to last item. Move to linked item. Button. Move to next container. Move to next item. Move to next visible app.
No.
Button.
Heading's not in there.
Basic nav. Text navigation. Advanced navigation. Item text cert. Move to next column. Move to next control. Move to next different item. Move to next frame.
So,
move to next heading. Button.
There we are.
Touch gestures. Heading.
And I want a 2-finger swipe right.
Touch gesture. Add gesture. Button. 2-finger single tap. 2-finger double tap. 2-finger triple tap. 2-finger quadruple tap. 3 fingers. Heading.
That's taps.
Rows. 1-finger swipe right. 1-finger swipe. 2-finger swipe left. 2-finger swipe right.
There we go.
2-finger swipe right.
So that's next heading. Let's go
Move
back
to next
out of
heading.
here.
Move to next same. Move to previous column. But move to previous. Move to previous different item. Move to previous frame.
There's
But move
lots
to
and
previous
lots
heading.
in
Button.
here that you can
Touch
do.
gestures. Add gesture. Button. 2-finger rows 7. 3-finger swipe.
Oops.
3-finger. 2-finger swipe down. 2-finger swipe up. 2-finger swipe right.
Gone too far now.
2-finger swipe left.
Left.
2-finger swipe left. Add gesture.
Now.
Button. Move to previous heading. Button.
And this is where it becomes really useful because now if I want to add another gesture,
Move to previous image.
let's
Button.
say we want one for previous image, right? We don't, but just for hypothetical sake, we'll say
Touch
we do.
gesture. Add gesture. Button.
Now if I go into this add screen,
Cancel.
all
Button.
the categories are headings, so I can now use my 2-finger flick right.
Touch gestures. Heading. Tap. 1 finger. Tap. 2 fingers. Tap. 3 fingers. Tap. 4 fingers. Swipe. 1 finger. Swipe. 2 fingers.
And I haven't got to keep scrolling by amounts of things that make no sense. So if I scroll up here with 3 fingers,
Rows 19 to 30 of 40.
it tells me that 19 to 30 are visible, so there's 11. Is that right? Are 11? 19? Yeah, that's an odd number. Visible on the screen at once, but it doesn't give me any indication of what those are. So it's telling me how many rows are on the screen. But using the heading gestures, I can go left or right through headings, and it's really useful to be able to hear them. I've really found that useful, and the fact that I can now back up with my 2 fingers is really good as well. So this is how you remap commands, and as you saw when we tried to tried to add a command that was already in existence, it asked if you wanted to replace it. That's fine. And when we added something that wasn't being used, it just let us do it, and that's really good. So I strongly urge you that if you're having a difficulty with any type of command, whether you can't scrub or whether you're really struggling to 4-finger tap quickly or something like that, maybe have a look at these commands, see what you want to do that you can't do, and see about remapping it wherever possible, because it really will give you a great deal of help in the long term.